Let's begin the public safety meeting for July 12th. Can we get roll call, please?
Alderperson Haggett.
Here.
Alderperson Vanzel.
Here.
Alderperson Yaku.
Here. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from June 14th? Rich, you weren't here, right? So, John, do you see
I'll
anything?
move to approve the minutes.
Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion approved. Number 3, consider signage to change, or consider warning signage at the end of the Dyke Road. Alderperson Bernard had requested this for the city to look at placing signage near this area to warn people of the swift current and the dangers of crossing the channel. So, Marty, you want to talk?
Well, I just brought this forward for discussion, talk about what kind of signage we might want to put up there. I see that
Public Works.
Alderperson Bernard is here. I don't know if she wants to talk on it, but we definitely, there's some options that we can definitely put down at the end of the dike.
Okay.
So,
What do you? Yeah. About the 10 drownings in 10 years.
There have been, since 2002, we've had approximately 10 drownings in the Hudson area, 9 of which have been on the St. Croix River. Majority of them have to do with alcohol, obviously, but a lot of them have to do with, the river obviously being current and so forth. This last incident didn't have anything to do with, obviously, alcohol or drugs, but obviously, a person trying to cross that river channel, which is about 150 to 200 yards in a swift current, is not a good idea. So I know we don't have any lifeguards down there. I know it's kind of a swim on your own type of situation. So when this incident happened and Lori asked me to put this on the agenda, we started thinking about what kind of signage could we put down there. Something about danger, swift current, swim at your own risk, swift currents, use caution, something similar to that. I know I suggested something about no lifeguard on duty, swim at your own risk, but I know some people wanted to make sure we put something on there in regards to the current being down there. So.
Oh, I would think so.
Right.
Danger with current.
So.
They the river, it's bigger than people realize.
Right.
They think it's you can see the other side, so you feel you can swim it, but it's big. I don't think it's a bad idea to put signs out. I know there's criticism out there whether we do something like that but common sense and stuff like that, but safety comes first, so.
And there are already posts down there that they have for no boat parking or when the park is open and so forth, so it shouldn't be very difficult to put some type of sign on those posts as well, so just so that we'd have something down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in favor of putting some signs up.
John?
I think people enter the dike 2 ways. They can get off on a boat, and I think some of the drownings are related to people diving in shallow water at the dike. At least I've heard of a couple. But I was thinking about having, first, a good idea, Lori, by the way. When you're going down the dike at the bridge there, we say no jumping or swimming, but we could just say that, swimming at the end of the dike is prohibited, or just so that people coming from either direction have an idea that there's, it's a challenge. I don't know. We could even.
I don't want to prohibit it. I mean, if someone wants to swim, it's their choice. I think that a strong warning, danger, swift undercurrent, something like that is, if you prohibit it, you can't prohibit someone from swimming in a public river.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, my choice of words were just came out. So I guess I was just saying, adding another sign as well to the other end of the dike. Because mostly because there's strong current running under that bridge as well.
Yeah.
At the short side too, so.
Well, yeah, where would we want to put the signs? There has to be more than one spot.
Well, I think there is a telephone pole down there that does have a big sign as you're walking down the dike.
Yep.
That has all the rules on it. I would imagine you could put a sign on there, maybe just a little bit lower down.
Separate
so people,
sign.
Yeah, separate
Yeah.
sign where they could see it. And then maybe on a couple of those other posts that face out into the river itself, so when people are getting off their boats, they can obviously see that. I would imagine the best place to put them would be on the river channel side where all the boats are allowed to moor right there, because a lot of people swim right in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which side was the last incident on? Was it on the beach side?
It was on the beach side,
Yeah.
but he had gone off on that channel side and obviously trying to get across over to Minnesota, and he made it maybe
50 yards, right?
50 or I don't even think that's far. He didn't make it very far at all.
Supposedly he had swam across and quite a ways and then decided he was having troubles and
Just trying to come back.
Tried turning around, yeah.
coming back.
Well, I like what you said, what dangerous swift undercurrent, was that what you?
Well, I just said something about maybe a swift current. I don't know if you want to put a swift undercurrent or something.
Well, I think we should have danger on the side. And,
Well, of course,
and obviously the reason why it's dangerous, so,
right. Danger, swift current, swim at your own risk,
yeah,
something similar to that.
yeah.
I did talk to Catherine about it. She didn't see any liability issues by us notifying the public down there about the,
Well, by saying we're aware of it and we're not,
Correct.
well, it's Mother Nature, what can we do about Mother Nature?
Well, it's also, excuse me, it has a ton of boat traffic.
Mhm.
It's a navigable waterway. So on a Sunday, you know, there could be countless boats out there.
right. And the boats generate more current as it goes along.
Right.
So why don't we post signs that say danger, swift current, swim at your own risk? Anybody have a problem with that type of language? Lori? Okay, I'll make that a motion then. I guess, Marty, we'll leave it up to you to determine how many signs need to be posted and where,
I'll meet with Tom on it. We'll take a look at it, put them up.
in red. Yeah. It got high, maybe a fluorescent. Even a fluorescent, reflective. Is there a
I'll
second?
meet with Tom on that.
You seconded it? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, great, thank you. Item number 4 is consider signage change on 7th Street and Malibu Drive. Okay, so Alderperson Hoggett asked for this to come back on the agenda due to complaints within his district. This is the third time we're visiting this, so let's make it the last.
It'll be the last. And I don't know who brought it up the second time, so. I've got pictures of this intersection here, and I don't know if we can give one to the, here you go, pass those down. And we're looking north. I don't know if we can hold this up to the audience at home here, probably not gonna work out. And the person that, was surprised to see the stop sign go away again were the Withunes. And if you notice that when you're going across the bridge, you see a normal intersection, but just slightly to the off-right is the end of their driveway. And if you're standing at their house and you're looking it up, it looks like their driveway is virtually part of the intersection, which I don't know if that would even be allowed today in current engineering standards, but and then I talked to somebody down at the other end of the street here, and also felt, was it Joe Foss? I think he talked to Marty too, that the stop sign just gave you a definitive understanding that you knew that people were going to stop. So right now, it's always in question as to who's going to do what, and the people that tend to go left here, and I watched some of that go rather quickly around the corner there. So just having a blind intersection sign doesn't really control traffic to the point it's more of just a warning or a caution.
Okay, so here's the problem. Who drives back there? Just those neighbors is how we were seeing it, and I don't know if I can disagree with that. I mean, there's nowhere to go unless you know you're going to drive into the lake if you go any further. So that's why we took away the stop sign and just allowed people to asked people to be cautious just in case there was, you know, non-neighborhood residents driving back there. There was a lot of complaints from the residents back there that we were added the stop sign as well, and I just, you know.
Well, the unfortunate part about this is they had just had their driveway redone and would have altered their driveway location had they, and they probably should have anyway, but now that it's not there, they're obviously having regrets due to the proximity of their road to the intersection, so.
Right. Well, I probably would have, if I was that concerned, changed my driveway no matter what. You know, I mean, I don't think the stop sign was relevant to where we had it the first time. I think it was a good idea, but at the time, but as we implemented it, it didn't seem to, it seemed to be more of a frustration. I don't know how it would be in winter having that stop sign on that hill like that either, the more we thought about it. I don't know if the concern is obviously people coming over that hill. It's not, or is there a concern people going over the hill, or the concern of the cross traffic on Malibu Drive?
I think it's pretty much people going north from 7th Street into that neighborhood. They can go down the hill, they can go right, or they can go left.
Right, so putting stop signs on Malibu Drive to control one angle of traffic is not gonna matter to them, because they're still able to fly over the hill and drive over the hill and possibly, because that's the only other option. On top of the hill, that stop sign wasn't,
Well, according to the two people I talked to, and I didn't talk to everybody because I didn't see many people down there, they thought it was effective, that it was working. The stop sign was working how they thought it should.
okay.
Do we have a history of accidents down there, or is there?
I believe when
No.
we brought this up the first time there, I don't think there was any accidents at the intersection. I can't recall any accidents.
Joe said that his sister had gotten T-boned there about 10 years ago at that location.
I don't,
That's anecdotal, but that's what I know.
Well, I mean, it's not that it doesn't meet,
it must be longer than, because
Okay.
we go back 12 years or more.
it's not that it doesn't meet the stop sign policy, I guess, because it's a blind intersection.
Mhm.
That's one of the requirements. It's just that the way that it comes up is the difficult part, because you're going over this hill, and granted, you could see the stop sign the way we placed it. If you didn't notice the stop sign, you're slamming in your brakes going down the hill, and that's gonna put you in the middle of the intersection in the wintertime.
It's kind of, there's not much of a hill there, though. You kind of just go up and it goes down just a bit.
Yeah.
You're actually slowing down as you're going over the hill.
What we talking-
After sitting there for a while today, it seems like it's the only true way to get people to stop there and take an honest assessment of the intersection and the traffic there. Otherwise, everything else is just kind of subject to the driver's interpretation. So it's an effective form of control at a blind intersection where we have residents that are directly affected by it. So I feel awkward of having recommended taking it away, but I guess upon further review, it seems like it actually made sense. So
We talking about a four-way stop here, or
just a one-way.
It was just one stop sign that was placed,
on 7th Street going north?
yeah.
Would a yield sign do any good there? Or would that be a similar?
When we talked about that, we chose to do the caution sign over the yield sign. I mean,
They would have to come over that hill, they'd have to see the person
right,
getting ready to turn in front of them before they would
before they could
yield.
yield.
I don't think that would be as.
Yeah,
effective.
so I guess I believe the stop sign is an effective control at that intersection. So I would move that we would reinstitute the one stop sign at the southeast corner of 7th and Malibu Drive
Is there a
That'd be
second?
for northbound traffic?
for northbound traffic, yeah.
We have a second.
I'll second that. I mean, one stop sign, if it works for the neighborhood and takes care of what we need to do, it's fine.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Next. Okay, this is another, we have stop signs tonight. Review the stop signs on sign on Vine Street, Vine and 4th Street. Alderperson Hoggett, you're up.
This was a carryover from Lee, and we were gonna revisit it
Yep.
at some point.
I brought it up at first,
Right.
yeah.
Yep, and then, this, according to, I talked to a number of people at that intersection, and I think it's been around for about 25 years now, and it's kind of been a subject of discussion many times.
Well, I think the reason why it went up was because the library was down there. The library's not there
Right.
anymore, so, then there was, when that was taken away, it started to seem redundant for people to stop at 4th and stop at 3rd and stop, so that's why we questioned whether or not we need a stop sign there.
Seems like the majority of the traffic is just stopping and then going again.
Yeah.
So that's burning gas and making noise. So there's 3 businesses there and 1 residence right at the corner. I talked to I can't remember his name, at Valley. He said kids do cross over there to go to Willow River in the morning.
They can cross at Third Street too.
Right. So there would be that. Other than that, it just seems like a place to have to stop for no real.
I'm with you on that. I think I know there was a question whether we do the Third Street one versus the Fourth Street one, if we were gonna do it, and the fire trucks have, trouble turning at the Third Street when there's cars backed up there. But then I think Melanie brought up a good point, that if there could be a backup of people when someone's trying to turn left, because the road's not wide enough to go around the cars onto Second Street. So the wiser one, if we're going to remove one, would be the Fourth Street one. So accidents didn't seem there wasn't a major accident report before we put the stop signs up, from what I noticed. Marty, am I wrong?
No, I believe there was only, if I'm looking at this correctly, there's
5 or?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the last 10 years, and the majority of them, I believe, are rear ends or,
And one was a deer.
yeah. And usually that's near that intersection, not in the intersection, so.
Yeah. So it's not it's not a high, it's not a dangerous intersection, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I don't see a real need for it on Fourth Street.
No.
I think what makes that intersection safer now is the fact that that hedgerow that was there on the northwest corner is now gone, so that
The
there
what?
is.
The hedge?
The hedgerow is now gone, so it's a wide open, so you can see everybody that's coming through there, so.
And I think people who are opposed to removing it, just like the convenience of being able to cross at a 4-way stop, but
My suggestion is if you do take out the stop signs on Vine, that you put cross-traffic does not stop
yeah.
on 4th Street, and then maybe some indication that there's been some change there, so
Well, we
people
have to
just
put the
don't
flags,
pulling out and stuff.
we have to put the red flags.
No,
You know.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just so that
Yeah.
the people know that there's been a change.
Do we need to put signage ahead of the stop sign?
Well, I don't know if we have to put signage ahead of the stop sign, that might be something Tom could take a look at, but just something that would draw the person's attention, hey, there's been a,
Yeah, because that's a
Signage
major
change,
change
yes.
on this street, if we do
Correct.
this. It's not, yeah. Well, do we have a motion, anyone? Want to entertain one?
Yeah, I'll move to change the intersection of 4th Street and Vine Street to a I don't even want to say this, not a 4-way stop, but a 2-way stop, with the Vine Street traffic being the thoroughfare.
And you want to add in what Marty suggested with
Oh,
the
with added
traffic does not
control, sign, either flags or signage to help, or cross-traffic does not stop on the side streets.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, well, that's gonna. Okay, on to our next subject matter is to discuss meeting dates and times. For years, the meeting at one point was at early in the morning, at 7:30 in the morning, and people felt it was difficult for constituents to come. It was moved to the evening. I don't have a problem with the evening time, but with Rich, Rich is new, and I always like to discuss whether or not this is convenient for everyone, especially when you have new members come on, so that's why I brought it on here. So it's Holy Thursday for you, Rich, so I know. It's probably not the most convenient day of the week, but I don't know if that's gonna, if it's something you'd want to change, or if you're content with this time frame, or,
Yeah, it's only a couple of Thursdays during the summer, so it's okay with me.
I'm flexible, if you have a
If I had
suggestion.
my choice, I'd make it Wednesday, but I don't want to inconvenience anybody else just because of me.
Wednesday evenings. Isn't that when court is?
No, court starts at 3:30 in the afternoon, so. My only suggestion would be for the times would be to get it closer to when we have normal office hours. because, obviously I gotta bring Melanie in to
Yeah.
work, and Dave's gotta come in overtime as well, so
Okay.
the closer we can get that, the less we have to spend on overtime.
Yeah.
I'm flexible.
Doesn't Melanie, didn't she tell me one time that Melanie, she gets 2 hours either way, whether it's at 5 or at 6 or
I don't-
overtime?
I don't know if that was in it. I know that my officers, if they got called in, got 2 hours of overtime, but, the closer it is to 4:30, she doesn't have to go all the way home and then have to come back for a half hour, 45-minute meeting and then go back home again, so.
I can make them an hour, 2-hour meeting, you know.
Make it work, but I don't want.
Only,
Wait now.
if you want me to skip plan commission, that is.
Problem is you gotta consider the constituents and the
Right.
citizens to.
Right.
The problem,
They'll
that's
be
why we
working.
always have it at 6. That's why we kept it at 6 is because of,
Well, we had it at 4:30 and then 5. I think we moved it back to 6 because Lee couldn't be here from Minneapolis.
right. We started putting it earlier and then, I mean, I guess I'd prefer to keep it on Thursdays if we can, but I would do it earlier on Thursdays, but that would be even,
That's fine.
I don't know how you are on.
Again, I'm totally flexible. My house is right downtown, so not a big deal.
It's fine.
I have to think about,
That's why you're getting the big bucks to be the chairperson.
well, I'm trying to think as my husband just met me in the parking lot because he was coming home late from work. Maybe it's not a good idea. 'Cause I might have 3 kids in the audience the whole time. Maybe if we don't mind, let's keep, if we can keep it as is, are you okay with that? And then the constituents are here and I don't have to worry about childcare.
But it's predictable. I mean, people can,
Yeah,
They
the
know
more I'm
that.
thinking about it, as long as everyone else, I mean, I don't care if we maybe switch the day, but the time, I think, is, sorry about that. I just realized that if we switch the day from Thursday, I'm really in trouble, so probably for childcare, so. All right, so we'll keep the dates and times as is. There was no conflict, was there a conflict with the August meeting, since we're talking about dates and times? Did you email me with a conflict that you would have, that you wouldn't be here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
what's the date?
Is it the 9th?
The 9th or 10th?
The 9th.
It's 9th, yeah.
Yeah. I'm good, so, are you okay with that, Rich, with everything going on?
Mhm.
Okay.
Isn't that the first month we haven't had to switch council meetings and everything?
Yeah, we're back to normal schedule. All right, well, then we're good. We'll just keep it at 6 o'clock and appreciate everybody's cooperation on that. Okay, number 7, EMS, Fire Department, and Police Department updates. We'll start with Fire Department, because they've been quiet tonight.
That's good. We've been busy here the last couple of weeks with probably 30 calls in the last couple of weeks, so different stuff. But I still looking at solutions for storage needs, and maybe we can do something within the buildings. Still looking at some options there for seeing what we can do to create some storage space.
Okay, well, yeah, we discussed some stuff, and we're gonna get look in the pricing and stuff, and we'll bring it up
Yeah.
at the next, when you get it.
Yep.
Dave, anything?
I've been getting a few calls. The people are wanting to build fire pits and freestanding fireplaces. Now summer gets here and they want to roast their marshmallows and their hot dogs and whatever. And they're calling for permits. There's no permit needed for recreational fire, but there's 2 key things on that is that you have to use it as a recreational fire, not as an open burning can for garbage and rubbish and kitchen sink and everything else. And 2, you had to be in attendance while you're using this. So, and make sure that it's also obviously out before you go to bed. So those 3 criteria, I've been telling the people, we're getting a few calls on them. And most of them are very receptive to that. They just want some idea.
And away from the building.
And away from the building. We use around 20 feet from combustible structures or fences or stuff like that. So most of them will have those fire pits back beyond a patio or something in the backyard. So we're pretty good. And we also encourage them not to put it under leafy trees or Norway pines where you're gonna have needles and stuff that are drying out. For the most part, people are very good on that. And but we're getting a few calls, so they can do that, use that anytime they want it, and no special permit or anything needed for that.
Okay. Marty?
Just a couple things. I don't know if I mentioned this at the last meeting, but, we received a donation of a Vesta grant for our canine. It was in the paper here a couple weeks ago, I believe. It's a bullet and stab resistant vest for Briscoe. So he'll
Nice.
wear it when he goes on some special assignments, especially if he knows that there's an armed person in a building or something like that. So we got that from Vesta Dog Program. That turned out really nice for us. Lieutenant Atkinson has been applying for grants. We ended up getting a $2,000 grant from Walmart here the end of last week. We're going to be using that money to upgrade our technologies in our squad cars. In fact, we're going to be going and taking a look at getting some tablets that we can put in the squad cars and use those instead of our MDCs. Much more portable. The hope is that the officers will be able to take them out of the cars. If they're writing an accident, they'll be able to use it to write accidents, take pictures with them. If we needed to do a photo lineup, we'd be able to do it right on top of the tablet, and we can take it inside and have somebody take a look at it right away, so.
So what are you gonna do with the computers?
Well, the computers that we have currently right now, if we get the grant, we'll probably end up selling them on eBay. Or Craigslist, or trying to get rid of them somehow. We'll try to get some money for them and so forth, so. As you saw at the 4th of July celebration, we do have our new squad cars in service now. I think it looks good. We got a lot of positive comments from it. That's a Ford Explorer, and it does got a lot of get up and go, so the officers are happy with it. We might end up trying to order another one again for next year, so hopefully that will work out. And one more thing, August, first Thursday in August, I believe it's or Tuesday in August, the 7th, should be National Night Out. If you're going to have a block party, or somebody wants to have a block party for National Night Out, please get a hold of us. Either get a hold of myself or Lieutenant Atkinson. Let us know if you're going to have one, because we try to get officers there to as many of those functions as we can. Over the last several years, we've had anywhere between 5 to 8 block parties. So that's August 7th is National Night Out. So if you're going to have one, please let us know so we can come and meet everybody and answer any questions you might have.
As well as us.
Yeah, fire departments.
Okay, informational items, so let's talk about parking ticket fines, Marty.
We've been working on, trying to recover some of the parking funds. Let me hand those out if you pass those down. Millie, is there, how many you got there?
Did this go up? The grand total?
No, the grand total at 62?
There's 3.
It might have.
I thought we plugged the hole.
This, just so you can look at it.
What happened to plugging?
What ended up happening when first thing we tried to do was try to issue warrants for the top 5 offenders, the ones that owed us the most amount of money. We ended up we only ended up getting one person to come in on the warrant, or the notice to appear in front of the judge.
What happened with it?
Well, it's still in the court system, but it looks like they are going to pay the entire amount.
Which was, do you remember?
Approximately $1,700, that was the big one.
Okay,
However, it probably is gonna be in a payment plan. That's a college student, doesn't have any money, so we're working that. But the other 4, we weren't able to locate them anywhere. We couldn't get a hold of them. We couldn't find them any way we could locate. That's what brings up these spreadsheets you're taking a look at. Those are license plates and outstanding tickets that are owed by those vehicles. And if you take a look at them, including the new ones we got about 8,300 out there that we cannot find where they live. We've checked DL records, we have checked our computer systems. We can't find these people anywhere. And we continually are sending out hundreds of these every month that are getting returned to us, which is starting to cost us money.
yeah.
So I'm gonna make 2 suggestions. I'm gonna make one at the finance meeting coming up on next week, or not, is it next week or the week after? The following week, to write off that 8,300 so that we're not sending any more of these out that are getting returned to us. It's just a waste of money.
Okay.
So we're gonna be doing that. The next thing we're gonna take a look at is I met with Neil. He's doing some more research in regards to us going after
Their taxes.
their taxes. The situation he has yet to find out is whether or not we can go after somebody's taxes in another state. We can in Wisconsin, as long as we have a DL number, or social security number, which we should be able to get. We'll be able to get the DL numbers off the registered owners for Wisconsin residents. It'll be the Minnesota residents and those from other states that should that could be more difficult for us.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. I did have an officer back when she was on light duty attempt to call 82 of those people that owed us large amounts of money. She was only able to get a hold of 17, and of the 17, some of them never returned calls, or did call back and said they would take care of it, never did. Some of them came in and paid, and the majority of the other ones, she could just never find. So we're running into a problem of what are we gonna do? We can't spend a lot of, officer resource time, searching this down. I know we've talked about a collection agency, but I know that, the mayor does not want us to proceed with that now without giving, because obviously we'd be giving like 19% of what's recovered to the collection agency, so.
Well, I don't think is that he doesn't want us, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think it would be a last resort. And if we're
Right.
starting to get to a
Correct.
last resort, 19% sure is a lot better than 0.
Correct.
So, we'll have to discuss that.
Right.
We'll discuss that, but, did it go up due to the fact that their fines are going up as they get later, or how did this get up?
I think what the problem is that we're generating more tickets.
Yeah,
I think that's what the problem is, because this thing fluctuates, it goes up and down. I think if you took a look at the other sheet I gave you in regards to, I think I gave it to you, it should have the, yes, there we go. It would have had the printout in regards to the amount of money that people owe us on a daily basis, 30 days or less, you're looking at about $6,000.
yeah,
The 91 days and above, obviously, those are the people who owe us a lot of money, but that's not gonna fluctuate as much as this 5117 is gonna go up and down, which makes it looks like, it goes from 58 to 62, it just goes up and down like this.
before you ask finance to
Right off.
leave it right off the 8,300, I think we should go there he is. I think we should go after, make an attempt with a collection agency.
See if they can locate these
See
people.
if they can locate them, yeah, that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do, is dedicate all their time to that. So, maybe we should prepare, information for that for finance instead, first.
Okay.
We're getting to the bottom of the barrel here with ideas, besides going after taxes, which we can still do in coincide with that,
Correct.
so I just think that,
Well, I can get the information, I've got the information on the collection agency that River Falls uses.
yeah, so
Credit Bureau Data Incorporated,
I think we should take that route with finance first, and,
see what they wanna do with it.
yeah, I mean, if we can collect it, we collect it, and if we lose 20%, but we, get 80%, I mean, 80% of $62,000 is, not a little amount. So, that's just my suggestion. Closure of the Stillwater Lift Bridge is another issue we need to tackle. We need to try, the mayor asked that we put this on the agenda. He wants Public Works and Public Safety to talk about, route alternatives, how we're gonna handle the increased traffic through downtown, how are we gonna reroute this traffic in a efficient manner. One of the, we can detour people to exit 4 and have them take A out towards like St. Joseph's and all that area. Obviously, people are gonna take exit 1, and that's gonna happen. The majority of people probably will take exit 1 and try and work their way through, back and forth through. We need, and I know Public Works is working on it too, but I think it's more of we need to find the best routes. We can have multiple detours, I suppose, for this. I don't think we should not consider exit 4 as one of the detours, especially when it takes people out to the same area. They're gonna have to go a couple miles further, but they'll get home a lot faster probably in the long run.
The problem we're gonna run into, though, is if we're gonna detour off of Second Street, because it's a state trunk highway, we've gotta get permission from the state of Wisconsin to do it.
I know.
So, it's just like the
So-
parade permits, they're called detour permits, and we have to
Yeah.
get them signed.
So I don't know if Public Works if that's something they're looking into. Maybe check with Tom on that. I can check with,
How would that work then? Are you gonna close exit 1 and exit 2?
We wouldn't close exit 1.
How would you detour the people? How are you gonna pick out the people that have to go to exit 4?
No, you wouldn't. It would just be an option for people. You know.
Alternate route.
Alternate routes, yeah.
You might have that marked as the detour route, and people migrate however they
Yeah.
going to anyway.
Well, it's kind of similar to the I-94, alternate 94 is Highway 12.
Yeah.
Stuff backs up there, you get a truck accident, people will take the alternate.
I just have a strong concern for the businesses downtown when this happens. I mean, there's an argument that they might get more business because more people are going through, but I tend to see the other side of that is people are frustrated and they're stuck. And the last thing they want to do then is stop. You know, so at least that's how I behave.
How long is this
So-
gonna last?
3 months? 4 months.
4 months.
So that's why we need to think about these routes, because it's not a 2-week thing or a 1-week thing. It's gonna be hectic for the residents of Hudson and everybody around us. I think we're gonna get a good taste of what it would be like if we didn't have a Stillwater Bridge coming in, that's for sure. So, that would be I think one of the least congestive solution would be to go to exit 4, but I don't know if that's gonna be the most popular solution. So, anyone, we can ponder on this and bring it back up at the next meeting if everyone wants to think about it a
Sure.
little bit, or,
Hmm.
any ideas?
Or are they,
There aren't many choices, I know.
Are
Well,
you-
there's not many choices,
you're
so.
getting them back to 35 as an alternate from exit 4? Which way do they go?
Well, exit 4, we're concerned about the people going north, right? So exit 4 leads them up A through St. Joseph's, and, you know, they can still get to their destination, you know, New Richmond and all those areas, Somerset,
It'd be, I would be the alternate,
I or J or,
because I go straight to Somerset, right?
so, yeah, exit 2, I mean, oh my gosh. If we have more congestion on exit 2, we're in, you know, trouble, and it's just my 2 cents. I'm not saying it's the right idea, I'm just,
Exit 2 would be a mess.
yeah, it's gonna be a mess either way, and, so,
Let's just keep- yeah.
we can bring it up in the next agenda too, and have everyone think about it, and, you know, we have to decide when we're gonna implement it. I don't know what's the best for public safety and policing, and, you know, obviously that's out of your jurisdiction, but I think we're gonna have more accidents and stuff, probably, with the
We'll probably
congestion.
have more congestion downtown.
Yeah,
You're also gonna have the individuals that are gonna detour down onto St. Croix and Buckeye to First Street to
and zip up Cooley, and they're gonna
avoid
do,
the traffic lights and so forth, so.
so, let's ponder it. I'd like, you know, if someone can come up with, I don't know, Tom, I'm sure Tom is working on it, but like I said, the mayor wanted both committees to discuss it, so just keep talking about it until we have to do it, implement it, I guess.
So when was this gonna go into effect?
End of September, right?
Sometime in September, I know it's
Yeah.
going. I think it was gonna be after Labor Day weekend, I think they were gonna start.
After Labor Day?
Okay, good, so
Yeah.
not a summer.
Not, yeah, out of the summer, but
Correct.
we're still pretty hectic down there. I mean, we've been hectic through winter, but through the end of October, we're still pretty, last year, people were still boating and stuff. I mean, the weather stayed warm so,
We might wanna look at the timing on the lights and adjust the timing on the lights to get
What?
people through downtown.
I believe they are gonna adjust the lights, correct, so it would run a little bit longer.
yeah,
Long run.
yeah. Yeah, that's the other. And I know we discussed having Second Street one-way and First Street one-way. That was discussed, having Second Street going only south or only north, and First Street the opposite,
Mm-hmm.
making it so it's like 4 lanes, or 2 lanes on Second Street, excuse me, not 4. 2 lanes going one way instead of 1 lane going.
Mm-hmm.
That's being discussed. So, you like my hand motion, sir?
I don't like that idea.
No, a lot of people don't. That's why we're thinking of all these ideas. So, the merchants, I don't think we're a big fan of that idea either, because, so we have to, you know, figure it out. So, all right, we can just ponder it. Other items for future agenda, do we have anything?
I do not.
You do not, Rich. I want to quickly mention that we are still on a water ban,
It's a restriction.
water restriction. 7 AM to 7 PM, right? Odd days, odd homes, even days, even homes can water, so, until that ends. Otherwise, if we have a motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. We're done. Thank you, everybody.